Okay, let's get started. All right. So the idea about it is we're going to start this music theory system all on the first string. Okay, that's the E string on the guitar. And here's what we want to do. We've got our major scale. So watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, what this chart means is between 1 and 2 is a whole step. That's like 2 frets, like going up 2 frets. Between 2 and 3 is a whole step. Between 3 and 4 is a half step. Okay, between 4 and 5, whole step. 5 and 6, whole step. 6 and 7, whole step. Okay, 7 and 8, half step. That's 1 fret. So they're all whole steps, but half steps between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. Now, another thing you can notice about this is if you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you look at 5, 6, 7, 8, they're identical. So in other words, 1, 2, 3, 4 is whole step, half step. Starting from 5, it's whole step, half step. Okay? The Greeks called these tetrachords, but we don't have to go into that right now. But the idea is the major scale was made up of 2 identical tetrachords. Here we are in the key of E. Now watch this. Here's the major scale. So just to look at those tetrachords, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now, certainly I would really say spend some time with just this. This is really the basics of music theory. Knowing where all of those notes are, like the 2 and the 4 and all that kind of stuff. That's really what's going to lead to getting really good at music theory, okay? Now, for instance, you could figure out some melodies, you know. Actually, I don't really even know what that is. I was starting like the New World Symphony, something like that. But there's Amazing Grace, Twinkle Little Star. Actually, you know, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. That's a good one. Let's look at that. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Twinkle Little Star is 1, 1, 5, 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1. 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2. Anyway, it's a good one to figure out, you know, all right? So, that's the major scale. Okay, that's the reference point for all of our music theory. Now, what we're going to cover today also is 6 scales and 3 chords. Okay, so here's what they are. Let's take a really good look at these. Okay, notice we've got major, then the Mixolydian has the flat 7, the Dorian has the flat 3rd and flat 7, the minor scale, that's sometimes called Aeolian, has the flat 3rd, flat 6, and flat 7. Then we have 2 pentatonics, pentatonic major, pentatonic minor. And then notice below that the chords. Okay, major chord, 1, 3, 5, or 1, 3, 5, 8, doubling it at the octave. Minor chord, we lower the 3rd, 1 with a flatted 3rd, 5, 8. Okay, that flatted third, we're going to end up calling that a minor third. Okay, the last chord, 1, 3, 5, flat 7, your dominant 7th chord. Okay, so what's going to happen is, if we've got our major scale, and we're trying to get familiar with that, you know, you might want to spend an entire day or two just doing the major scale. Now, the Mixolydian, which is the flat 7 scale, you're going to take the 7th and lower it by 1/2 step or by 1 fret. Okay, so watch. It's going to, the 7th note is then going to be in the 10th fret, not in the 11th fret. Okay, Mixolydian. Beatles, Within You, Without You. Anyway, the Beatles had a million kind of Mixolydian-ish melodies. I just did the video on Sweet Child of Mine. That's another Mixolydian. There's a lot of Mixolydian, okay, in guitar music. Okay. All right, Dorian. The idea about Dorian is it's the same as Mixolydian, only the third is lowered. So it's got a flatted third. So watch this. Scarborough Fair. So it's got that flatted 7th, flatted 3rd. Beautiful song. Okay, now, minor scale. Okay, sometimes I call this the classical minor scale. Sometimes I call it the Aeolian mode. This has now more flatted notes. Okay, so we've got the flatted 3rd, the flatted 6th, the flatted 7th. Okay, minor scale. Okay, now next on the list we've got 2 pentatonics. We have the pentatonic minor, pentatonic major. When I was getting started, we called the pentatonic minor the blues scale. People tend to call it pentatonic minor now. Okay, so 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, 8. Okay. Now, this scale, like, if I were in this key, it would usually be... It would be like in that kind of shape. But the idea of going up and down the guitar like that is kind of unusual, but a lot of guitar players make use of that. Pentatonic major. I grew up was called the sweet blues scale or the country scale. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8. We associated that scale a lot with the Allman Brothers. They had like all these jams, Mountain Jam, and all kinds of Jessica and things like that. That they use it in. B.B. King uses it a lot. It's a really important guitar scale. Okay, 3-chord arpeggios. Major, minor, dominant. Major, 1, 3, 5, 8. So in other words, we're taking the major scale and we're just taking it right out of it. So, yeah, by the way, just listen to the way that's the same as this. Okay, this is down the octave, but okay, basic thing. Now, so what ended up happening was this third is now defined as a major third. Okay? Okay, now when we go to the minor chord, we're going to take that third and lower it by 1 fret. Becomes this. And notice it's the same as this. Okay, now I would prefer to call that third a minor third, not a flatted third. Okay. Now we like this for a number of reasons. Okay, but at any rate, the major third is in the 4th fret, and the minor third is in the 3rd fret. You know, it's so kind of poignant to go between the two. Okay, now, why are these called major and minor? This is kind of interesting. I think almost nobody knows this anymore. The idea was the Greeks had that monochord. Remember, we talked about that in the last video. It was a music theory instrument. So think of it as a 1-string guitar, 1-string instrument. And what they would do is they would measure this. So I did this with a student yesterday or 2 days ago. Between the 1st fret and the 4th fret, the major third came out to be 5 1/4 inches on this particular guitar. And then the minor third in the 3rd fret, that was 4 inches. So the major third was 5 1/4 inches, the minor third was 4 inches. So the idea was it was like major, meaning big. You know, like the major leagues and the minor leagues, or a major hassle and a minor hassle. So the minor means small. So in other words, E major is a chord, you know, that you know has a big third in it, and E minor is a chord that has a small third in it. That's what major and minor means. Now, most people, like anybody, would say, oh, you know, major, oh, that's a happy chord. Minor, that's sad or serious or something like that. And you know, I think that's kind of true. You know, there's something to that. You know, the minor chord, the major chord. The sun's coming out, the minor chord, you know, the clouds are taking over, whatever. You can think what you want. Basically just means big and small thirds. Okay, now, last chord, dominant 7th chord, 1 3 5 flat 7. Okay, so we could even think of that flat 7 as like from the Mixolydian. There it is. My dominant 7th chord. You know, take for instance, it's used in rock so much it fits. You know, E7 chord. Or take, that was Born on the Bayou, I think, but Pretty Woman, Roy Orbison. Straight up arpeggio of an E7 chord. Now, if I exploded that onto the 1st string, it would be 1 1 3 5 7. Right? So he does 3 iconic lick, you know, that just makes the song. Now, in our theory system, 1 1 3 5 7, and then after he goes 2 1 7 or 9 8 7. Sometimes they call that 9. Watch why. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, which is the same as 2 because this octave is the note E. You could consider it either 8 or 1. Anyway, that's music theory on 1 string, okay? I think it's a great way to start. We get to measure up what all of these notes are, okay? See ya in level 2. Okay.